Hey, what's up? This is Akinator here. We're starting to get into winter now. Temperatures are dropping pretty rapidly, which means that we can start talking about everyone's favourite techwear centerpiece again, the jacket. There's going to be a bunch of jacket reviews coming up soon. There'll be the Cloudburst Orion coming up in a few weeks, but for now I want to talk about something that I picked up very recently, the pink Nikelab ACG Deploy jacket. Although Nikelab ACG's reported final collection, the FW18 one, is not out yet, I picked up this one from SS18, the spring-summer stuff, but even though this is a summer jacket, it's still made of Gore-Tex, so water resistance, breathability is still going to be really good. The reason I'm picking this up now is because this jacket and the yellow version both went half price very recently, and the white one is something like 30% off as well, making these a little bit of a steal. These retailed, I think, at £510, and I paid $255 for this one, which equates to around $300. It is pretty rare for a new ACG jacket to drop down to this kind of price. So is this a bargain or not really worth bothering with? Let's take a look at the design, the features, the quality, performance, all that sort of stuff, and answer exactly that question. First up, let's take a look at the design. You might be familiar with Nikelab ACG jackets already. Generally, they will have a bit of a futuristic look, lots of asymmetrical detailing, and that is also the case here. The main zip is off center, and the two big pockets that run the length of this jacket are asymmetrical, as is the chest pocket that comes out on one side that gives the Deploy jacket its name. But of course we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. Those things alone help to give this jacket a little bit of visual interest over and above your standard rain jacket, but luckily there's some nice Nikelab ACG branding on here as well, and you'll notice that on a few points. On the back of the jacket on the left, you've got that familiar ACG stamped on there. You'll also find that on the chest pocket on the front. On one of the shoulders, you've got the little ACG triangle logo equipped with that all conditions text that you'll find on almost every Nikelab ACG product. On the back left, there's a Nike swoosh, which is the only pure Nike bit of branding on this jacket, and on the left sleeve there is some Gore-Tex branding as well, just in case you forget that you've got that sweet 28k millimeter water resistance and breathability. I've always been a fan of the way that Nikelab ACG handles branding, and this is still the case here. You've got quite a lot of different branding elements, but because they're creatively positioned and like the actual features of the jacket, they are asymmetrical and placed in these different areas. They can get away, I think, with much more prominent branding than pretty much anything else. It's not exactly subtle, but the positioning means that it's more naturally integrated with the jacket than you might find from how a lot of streetwear brands approach outerwear branding. There's one thing that is quite obviously different to Nikelab ACG jackets that have come before. It's probably the first thing that you noticed about this jacket, and that is, of course, the colouring. In FW17, ACG started introducing these very bold colours and patterns in a collection that up until that point had been very monochrome, and now they've taken it to the next level by using these pink and white colours, which have basically never been seen before in techwear product. You'd much more associate these kinds of colours in outerwear with 80s ski stuff or hiking ready gear. The other two versions were an orange and grey one, which perhaps draws even more strongly into those old school hiker styles, and there was a white and black version which, although perhaps slightly more conventional, still looked very unusual with the colour blocking and those very bright orange elements that they put on there. And that colouring is inevitably going to put people off, and I would say that that's the main reason why these are still available and why they went down to half price. If this was all black, I'm sure it would have sold out pretty quickly. I think that's partly because it defies people's expectations as to what a techwear jacket or what a technical jacket should look like, and it subverts that stereotype about the futuristic tech ninja kind of assassin dude, and partly because it does just make such a bold statement. You're not going under anybody's radar if you step out wearing this, and chances are people are going to look at you a lot more than they would do if you were wearing a plain black jacket, even one that does still have that ACG styling. That may or may not be a good thing depending on who you are or just how you're feeling on that day. Although the colour is so unconventional, I do think the white and the pink work together quite nicely, particularly when you've got those blocked colours. You've got one sleeve one colour and one sleeve the other, and that does work. I just think that it's such a big statement piece that a lot of people are simply not going to want that. The other aspect of this jacket which breaks convention is the overall shape of it. It has quite a wide and quite a short fit. It's got a bit of an A shape to it, it kind of does this, which is noticeably different to the Alpine jacket, which came in AW16 and then re-released in AW17 with the different colours. Those are a little bit longer and they have a shape which kind of cuts in a bit more towards the hip where the jacket ends, so that helps contribute to this jacket being unconventional and looking a little bit different. The width is good for layering in winter, you can certainly get a lot under this, and although it is a little bit shorter than would perhaps be ideal in a winter jacket, it's not super cropped or anything. I don't think it's going to cause any problems, but it's clearly a cut that is more on the SS side than the FW side. The same can be said of the collar. It does come up a little bit on the neck, but no way near as much as the very extended Alpine did. You can't go anonymous assassin in this. Again, it's another feature which suggests that this is more a summer ready jacket than a winter one, but it's going to protect you just fine if you need it to. Since we're talking about the shape, I may as well mention sizing briefly. I bought this in an M, which is the same size as my Alpine jacket, and I'd say that both of those give me a pretty good fit. I would normally wear either a medium or a large on jackets. So I would say take your normal size if you want it to fit a little bit oversized, or you could go down a size if you want a slim fit, although beware that it might end up a little bit short if you decide to do that. Let's talk about features now. What features make this jacket interesting? The primary one and the real unique feature, and the one that gives the jacket its name, is the deployable pocket. On the left hand side there is a kind of floating pocket sitting inside that main one, and you can unzip that, take it out, and then attach it via a magnet to the outside of the jacket. You might assume this is for situations where you need extra storage space, you know, deploy the extra pocket, get the extra one out. But it actually works kind of the opposite of that, because once it's deployed, that main zipped pocket has to remain open to allow it to be there, basically. So you're losing that big long pocket in favor of that small, easily accessible one on the front. The functional benefit then is small, easy access front pocket versus larger storage area on one side. I'd also say there's an aesthetic benefit. It does change the look of the jacket quite significantly, having that pocket deployed as opposed to not. So depending on what you're wearing with this, you might decide that one way looks a bit better than the other. In general, I like having the pocket out. I think it looks pretty cool. It certainly contributes to that technical look. But if you want something a bit sleeker, a bit more clean, you can certainly pack that away very easily. In general, I'm in favor of flexible elements like this and anything which gives one item of clothing multiple looks. And although it feels like there's a little bit of a compromise here in that you're losing one pocket to gain another, I think it looks surprisingly cohesive considering you do just have one pocket poking out of another one. And it does actually work. It deploys and stows away extremely easily, and it does an effective job of changing the look of the jacket. The hood is another removable feature of this jacket, and again helps to change the look. There's quite a big aesthetic difference between pocket deployed and hood attached compared to removed hood and pocket stowed away. That's ideal because of the colouring. You want to make this as wearable as possible and give it as many different looks as it can have. There are 4 poppers that attach that, so it's pretty secure and also very easy to remove and put back on again. Lots of ACG jackets come equipped with slings, and this is no exception. It works in exactly the same way as all those previous jackets. If you've seen the Alpine before, it's exactly the same as that. It's the backpack style sling as opposed to the L-shaped one that Acronym tend to use. So you can have the sling through your arms when the jacket is being worn, and then if you want to remove it without having to carry it around, you can just throw it off your back and then it will sit there ready to be used again. I found this really useful on the Alpine, going between outdoor wet locations and then you go somewhere indoors where it's a bit warmer and you just want to dry the jacket off. You can take it off super easily, but you don't have to go hunting around for somewhere to put it, you don't have to leave it anywhere. So yeah, I find it pretty convenient, and in techwear jackets generally, this is one of my preferred features. On a similar note with flexibility, there are arm vents, so if you get a bit hot, you can reduce the temperature quite easily. And on the right hand side pocket, which is one that I've not really talked about very much, it's basically just a nice big open area that you can store stuff in, obviously, but there is one sub pocket in there as well, which should be the perfect size for smartphones. It looks big enough to even fit your biggest, chunkiest smartphones in there. I feel like there are 2 different directions one can take in terms of what you should wear with this, with not that much middle ground between them. The first is you really make use of the colouring as a statement piece, so everything else is very stripped back, very typical monochrome colors, perhaps all black, and then you just use this jacket to bring a lot of visual interest into an outfit. Your other option is you combine it with a lot of other unconventional stuff to elevate the whole outfit to this tier of very unconventional, very unusual stuff. So for example, the Cloudburst Forecaster pants that I've got, I think that those with this jacket could make a really weird, cool, like space agey lunar core kind of fit. I've no idea what shoes or what boots or whatever I would wear with that, but I'm kind of thinking that that kind of vibe is going to be really cool and a very interesting way to wear this jacket. I could also see some one-piece ski suit inspiration being a bit of a thing. Get those nice crisp white pants in there, just so you've got that straight head to toe white with the pink accent. I think that sort of thing could work. It would be, of course, very out there. You need a certain amount of confidence to go wandering around the street with that kind of thing, but could be cool. In conclusion, this is certainly not going to appeal to everyone based on the color alone, and it's of course not one for conventional techwear style. In terms of the cut and the shape, I think that the Alpine still takes it for me, although I like that this makes for a nice contrast to something like that. At retail price at £510, this is an expensive thing for what will be for a lot of people a bit of an experiment, a bit of a contrast or even an accompaniment to a more traditional techwear jacket that they might already have in their wardrobe. However, if you are able to get this at a discount, as I say, I paid $255 for this, which is 50% off. Objectively, there is a pretty strong feature set for the price. You're getting that Gore-Tex material, which is extremely high performance and is going to outperform pretty much any mid-range techwear jacket out there. You've got those cool features, you've got the deployable pocket, which is certainly very unique. You've got the jacket sling as well, which I like. The cut and the design of this are more interesting than a normal high-performance jacket, and that includes, of course, the ACG branding, which for a lot of people carries quite a bit of weight, and I think within techwear and within streetwear and fashion in a wider context is pretty well regarded in general. So overall, it's a bit different, it's a bit interesting, and I like it. But guys, do let me know what you think about the Nikelab ACG Deploy jacket, whether it is that deployable pocket which then tucks away inside the zip, or those unconventional color choices. Do you think I made the right decision going for the ice cream version, or should I have maybe gone for the yellow and grey, or the white and black? Either way, do let me know down there in the comments, because I'm interested to see what you guys think about this one, especially at that reduced price. And of course, if you enjoyed watching this video and you found it interesting, please do hit that like button, and I will be back next week with something else. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you then. Shout out to everyone who enjoyed last week's video. It sounds like a lot of you found it useful, which is good. And shout out to Insert, Will James, Rcode, and Spicefinch. Judging by their comments and the large number of likes that they accrued, it looks like you guys definitely want to see a Taobao haul. So I will make that happen. That's definitely going to be a thing at some point. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. If you want to see some more techwear stuff, then there'll be links going up there. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then definitely consider doing so. There's going to be a little button going up on one of those two sides. You can click that, and then, yeah, more techwear stuff. It'll be a thing.